You know, looking at this thing, the RC-74DL-B, it looks like something ripped right out of the cockpit of the Starship Enterprise.
It really does. It's got that serious industrial vibe.
Totally. You've got these glowing buttons, these little screens, this big heavy-duty knob. But we're not launching photon torpedoes with this. We're just controlling a conference room.
And that's the whole point. Looking at the source material, that aesthetic isn't just for show. The whole mission here is for this one device to be the central nervous system for these really complex spaces.
Like auditoriums, boardrooms.
Exactly. It's the bridge between a person just saying, I want to present, and the chaotic reality of 20 different devices all trying to work together.
Okay, but I have to play devil's advocate here. It's
Right.
2026. Why do we need a physical control pad with actual buttons? Why hasn't Kramer just slapped a cheap touchscreen tablet on the wall like everyone else does?
Well, that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And
Yeah.
the answer usually boils down to reliability and muscle memory.
Yeah.
In a high-pressure situation, you really don't want to be swiping through 3 submenus on a glass screen just to find the mute button for the microphone.
Yeah.
You want a physical button that you know is there and gives you a click.
I get the tactile thing, I do. But the problem with physical buttons is always that mystery switch factor. We've all been there, right?
Right.
A row of 6 identical black switches, and you're terrified to press one because you might kill the lights
Or accidentally launch the missile.
Exactly.
And that's where the DL in the name is so important. It stands for digital labeling.
Right.
This unit completely solves the mystery switch problem by putting 3 actual LCD screens right above the button groups.
Oh, I see that.
They're not just static stickers, they're program configurable. So if the room setup changes, the label changes with it.
Yeah.
It removes that whole cognitive load. You look, you read projector, you press the button. Simple.
Okay, so it's super user-friendly on the front, but then
Then you flip this thing over. The back looks like a bomb defusal kit. I mean, it is just covered in ports. It is an alphabet soup back there for sure, but you have to think of it as a universal translator. This one device has to speak a bunch of different hardware languages, sometimes all at once.
Okay, so I see RS-232 and RS-485. Those are ancient, right? Like serial protocols.
They are, but they're still the absolute standard for a lot of high-end AV gear. That's how this keypad can talk to a projector that might be 10 years old. But then right next to that, you've got the relay control ports.
Relays, that sounds like something for heavy machinery.
It kind of is. It's for the physical world. Relays are what let this little box actually do things like scroll up a projection screen or close the drapes or dim the heavy blackout shades. It's moving actual objects in the room.
And what about this one, GPIO? The sources say it helps the system sense things.
Right. General purpose input-output. This lets the room react to its environment. You could, for example, hook it up to a sensor on the door. So you walk in, the sensor trips the GPIO port, and the panel automatically wakes up the system and turns on the lights before you even touch a button.
So it connects to everything. But how does the device itself connect back to the building's main system? I see a port here for KNET. Is that just Kramer's fancy word for a cable?
It's a bit more than that. Think of KNET as one single cable that's both a power cord and a data highway.
Okay.
So instead of trying to snake separate power supplies and control wires behind the drywall, you just run one link to the master room controller. It massively streamlines the messy infrastructure part of the job.
And speaking of infrastructure, there's an Ethernet port. Is that just for, like, firmware updates, or is it actually doing work?
Oh, it's doing heavy lifting. That connects to Kramer's site CTRL system. Imagine you're the IT manager for a huge university, right?
Right.
A professor calls you, panicking, from a lecture hall on the other side of campus because the audio is dead. Instead of sprinting over there, you can just log into site CTRL, see the volume is muted on this specific keypad, and unmute it from your desk.
That saves a lot of running around. And despite all of this tech, the relays, the sensors, the networking, it still fits into a standard 3-gang wall box.
Which is crucial. You don't have to demolish the wall to install it, which is a huge deal for retrofitting older rooms.
So to kind of wrap this up, what we have is a device that it looks analog, but it acts completely digital.
Exactly. And that's where the software Kconfig comes in. That's the real brain here. You can program the logic so that one single button press dims the lights, lowers the screen, and turns on the projector all at once.
It turns a whole sequence of tasks into a single action. It automates the room.
Precisely. And that brings us right back to that philosophical point you made at the beginning. You know, we spend our lives swiping on glass screens, on our phones, in our cars. But this device, it suggests that when the pressure is on, when you're standing at a podium in front of 100 people, you don't want to swipe. You want the certainty of a physical click.
So maybe analog isn't dead after all. It's just being saved for when things actually matter. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.